Our group will be focusing on Apple, a multinational corporation, and the ethical dilemma that they face with their ongoing relationship with their supplier, Foxconn, in China. Foxconn has been the subject of severe criticism regarding their employees' treatment, and Apple faces criticism as well for their relationship with this supplier. We will be discussing the ethical dilemma that they face with this relationship, and we will be presenting our global citizenship program that will help solve this dilemma.
Hello, my name is Christina Rodriguez, our project about the Global Citizenship Program. And I included the important aspects of our project, which include the literature review, ethical issues, impact of the community, organization, and stakeholders, ethical decision making, corporate citizenship program, SWOT analysis, and conclusion. Hope everybody enjoys our PowerPoint, and thank you for tuning in.
In my literature review, I found that a lot of publications focused on punishing Apple and Foxconn, and there was very little praise for their actions. Slavoj Žižek, a Slovene philosopher, said the case was great evidence for how business ethics focuses more on treating the symptoms that a problem causes rather than the problem itself. And I thought that was a very good point he made. Tim Morstall made another great point, which was on the wage changes, which he pointed out that 50 cents increase in wages does very little to impact the workers because they're still working long hours and in the harsh conditions. So very little was actually done at the end of the day. And the FLA, which Apple hired to inspect the factories of Foxconn, was also criticized because how independent can the FLA possibly be when you're paying them to inspect the factories? Just like in the Enron case, where you had them pay the auditors, and a conflict of interest could exist.
Hello, my name is Victoria Angulo, and I'm here to talk to you about the ethical issue we identified at Apple. The ethical issue we identified at Apple is their recent controversial relationship with Foxconn. Foxconn is one of the companies that assembles the majority of iPhones and iPads for Apple in China. The employees at Foxconn are experiencing long hours, low pay, unsafe working conditions, and poor management. Many firms like Apple hire these manufacturers overseas because they are cost effective, but many times workers are exploited due to the lack of labor regulations abroad. These issues can be traced back as far as 2010. These issues may impact all aspects of a company, from their financials to their overall social responsibility. Despite the negative feedback that Apple has received from media sources and former employees, the company has decided to address the issue by taking action. In conclusion, even though this issue would require the company to invest more money, they will address it because their stakeholders and reputation are at risk.
Hello, my name is Juan Restrepo. Today, we're going to talk about the impact of the ethical issue on the local community. There are two communities being impacted by this ethical dilemma. One is the communities where the products are being produced. Here, we see that employees are mistreated. Human rights are not the norm in these foreign countries, and people do whatever job it takes in order to provide for their families, but at the end, they are being taken advantage of. The second community is the community where the products are consumed. Consumers are at risk of facing fake items and getting ripped off. Consumers can also choose to purchase fake items at better prices. When consumers do this, they support manufacturing overseas. This causes the dilemma cycle never to end. This issue also has an impact on other stakeholder groups, such as government and competitors. This is a large issue because it limits how much companies are being governed and regulated in external countries. There are no labor laws to follow, so companies are free to mistreat employees any way they wish. In my opinion, this is a very big ethical issue when it comes to manufacturing overseas. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sergio Alzate, and I'll be talking about ethical decision making. The framework we chose was the deontology. First, what we're going to do is we're going to examine the hiring practices of Apple and their partners, make sure that they're doing the right practices. Second, we're going to establish HR departments overseas in every of the subsidiaries, make sure that they hire the right people to work. Also, they're going to provide a safe and healthful environment for their employees. Lastly, we're going to send an HR manager who's going to overlook this HR department and make sure that all the supervisors are doing the right thing at the factories. There's no beating going on or anything like that. This way we can guarantee that Apple will be a corporate responsible company. Thank you.
The program design for Apple Inc. would need to be implemented as follows. 1, they would need to hire a part-time partnership analyst. 2, they would need to train the overseas HR managers better. And 3, they would need to hire an HR manager from the United States to go manage their offices overseas. Hiring a part-time partnership analyst would cost Apple Inc. about $20,000 a year. Also could include more costs associated to the partnership contract. 2, the training of HR personnel overseas better would cost the company about $25,000 a year due to the fact they will have traveling costs and training costs. The third option of putting an HR director from the United States across seas will cost the company about $80,000 a year plus an additional $5,000 including travel costs. All 3 of these costs could help Apple Inc. in the future avoid situations such as Foxconn. Thank you. My name is Jessalyn.
I'm talking about the stakeholders of the company and the impact our program will have on it. The stockholders will actually benefit from this program. It may cut into profit, but in the long run, you would have more motivated employees that would push out more, production level would increase. Customers, well, like myself, for example, I didn't know the working environment that Apple was putting their employees through. So I guess it's a peace of mind for a customer knowing that they're spending that much money. They would like to get, they would know that it's coming from a good environment itself. Managers will both be, the managers that are against this program will actually be terminated, and better management, better hiring process will be in place for better hiring processes. The program won't have much effect on the suppliers because the suppliers are basically in it for the profit. The local community would benefit from this program knowing that they have protected rights and their rights will be respected. I guess the overall program would be beneficial towards Apple. Production level would increase, better work environment, no kids will be hired nor punished. So yeah, effective program.
I'm going to talk about Apple Foxconn SWOT analysis. Strength. Apple Foxconn is improve labor conditions at the Chinese factories that assemble iPhone and iPad. Apple Foxconn is the largest private company in China.
In conclusion, we feel Apple needs to take more steps regarding their relationship with their supplier, Foxconn. The relationship has impacted the company and the image of the stakeholders and customers and has made a negative impact on the corporation overall. If Apple were to take the deontology approach when trying to solve the ethical dilemma, it would greatly benefit Apple internally and in the eyes of the consumer. We feel that in the end, Apple could only benefit from making these changes, and even though it could be costly to implement, the end result would be worth the effort.